going down to the dungeon. So that's exciting. We get to see the Old Slave Mart too. So George Washington's been here.
I know, that's what I was thinking.
There's an elevator. Look, that's what it looked like in 1860, 1880. So we're going backwards here, 1920, 1900, 1790, look. That's what it would look like in 1790. How cool is that? We didn't want to miss it.
It's pretty dark down here, so please use your flash down here. On the other two levels, please turn your flashes off. Reason being is we got a lot of old antique oil paintings. Y'all probably heard this on other museum tours before, but the pigments they used back then, very sensitive to the flash on your camera. Unlike other places, we got proof. Right over here is a painting I like to call Gentlemen Waking Their Friends Up Off the Beach. And that was not originally painted in black and white. That was at one point a full color painting. You can still see the reds and the yellows on that guy on the right there, but unfortunately that is the effect of photo flash bleaching. So please, on the other two levels, turn those flashes off. It's a style that emphasizes symmetry and balance. Easiest place to see that symmetry is going to be up on the top floor. Up in the Great Hall, you'll notice there that the fireplaces mirror each other, as do the columns. So when the arches are known as Roman groin arches or double barrel vaults. Very old design hailing from around the 11th century during the Roman Empire in the year 1670. That's also the same year that a ship named Carolina comes into harbor, sailing right past this perfectly good peninsula, landing about right here, about 5 miles up the Happi-LEE River, a place known as Happi-LEE Point. Today we call this place Charleston Landing. We're very creative in our naming conventions here. Now, plan from the beginning was always to have the permanent settlement on the peninsula. However, when the colonists first show up here, this is all just raw marshland. They need time in order to, they stay out at Happi-LEE Point because they need time in order to survey, to landfill, and just generally prepare the peninsula to be able to hold up the weight of the city. 1672 is when they started making their move over from Happi-LEE Point to the peninsula. That move was completed by 1680. Looking pretty much how it does here with a few exceptions. Now, one of the first priorities of the colonists when they first got here, they needed to get their commercial enterprise up and going as quickly as possible. In Charleston, from the beginning, it's always been about the money. And so one of the first things they do, they build this big brick seawall here. Big brick seawall. It's about a half-mile long. Now, there's plenty of history written about the seawall. The only two things I need you guys to pay attention to is the fact that it has this half-circle outcrop here in the center. That's known as the Half Moon Battery. Right behind it, that little building, that's known as the Watch House. Half Moon Battery affords a 180-degree view of the harbor for both eyes and cannon. It is commercial and defensive in its purpose. The Watch House is otherwise known as the Court of Guard. Those were installed by a postmaster. Majority of the 19th century, this building served as a post office. He had those installed because at the time there's no other direct access to the floors above. You need them for convenience as well as keeping mail out of inclement weather. Very wealthy city. In terms of population, we are fourth behind Boston, New York, and Philadelphia. However, in terms of wealth, we are richer than the other 12 colonies combined. There's a few good reasons for that. First one I'm going to talk about makes the others even possible. That's the importation of enslaved human beings from West Africa. As a matter of fact, 40 to 60% of all enslaved people that came into North America came in through the port of Charleston. Next would be cotton. Now, cotton really didn't gain traction on a general level in the South until after 1793. Pretty sure y'all heard of the invention of the cotton gin. However, we did have a viable cash crop. In 2 episodes of a TV show called The Outer Banks down here. They've left that up to come and do reshoots if they need to, which I have worked in film and television before. Very convenient way of saying that they haven't cleaned up their mess yet. We do love that TV money though. Indulge me for a moment. Go ahead and close your eyes. I'll paint you a picture. Excuse me. What you'll look out on the Charleston Harbor. In this harbor you see dozens upon dozens of warships. Now, you know that these warships are all part of the most powerful. Now, it was inevitable that the British were going to take control of this city. This was an exercise in overkill. They definitely had some point to prove. When they take control of the city, I give you 3 guesses as to which building they wanted to use as one of the headquarters. First 2 guesses do not count. They wanted to use the big shiny building that wasn't full of cannonball holes. 2.5 years, British used the exchange as headquarters for their Provost Marshal, barracks, and the Provost itself. They're sitting on top of a 14,000-pound bomb, and they never knew a thing about it. We know for a fact that prisoners and kept here not only knew about that powder, they had put it there themselves. At any time, any one of them could have gone and talked to a guard. Shortly afterwards, they would have probably been let off on full pardon, maybe even get a little land for service to the crown. We'll never know. Not one of them said a word. Double dog dare you to try that with signal. That's a new one. On my left, as well as the car doors on my right, you would have seen a Hessian guard stationed outside. Simple definition for a Hessian, German mercenary company, similar to what maybe the Wagner group might be considered today. So the British use this here as a provost. Provost is a fancy word that simply means military jail. You need to keep custody and control of their own wayward soldiers in case of insubordination, dereliction of duty. Met a pretty girl went AWOL. Something to that effect.
Pretty good. Dude looks like a young Ben Franklin in the back.
And here they are in jail.
Yeah. The loss of Charlestown and its garrison would probably involve the most calamitous consequences to the whole state of South Carolina, and even perhaps beyond it. General George Washington, March 1780. Columns. Banister. That's just banister. As big as our front porch columns, but that's just the
What was on the steps?
banister rail, yeah. Decorative urns. Huh? Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Charles Cokesworth Pinckney, Charles Pinckney, Pierce Butler. Huh, yeah. The scavenger hunt. I don't know if we should ratify this Constitution or not.
Just be one of these busty wenches acting like I'm just listening and bringing y'all something to drink.
Yes.
Don't mind me.
The weight of the Republic is on my shoulders.
How did they know how to put the electrical outlets back then
They were good.
when they didn't have electricity?
Mm-hmm. Smart people. Almost got in. Francis Marion, there he is.
Get a picture of it. Can you get a picture of it?
Well, I'm getting video. The swamp fox. And see, Bannister, British Lieutenant Colonel Bannister Tarleton was sent to capture Marion, just like the movie The Patriot. There's the Battle of Cowpen. That's a big one.
I don't know that much about Revolution.
Here's
There's where we went down. PD.
Francis Marion again. Those are people from the Patriot. General Marion invited the British officer to share his meal. Look at that. The post office. Hugh would like that. This is the ones that saved the building. Pretty. Look at the mailboxes. Oh, this is neat. So if you're looking at it in 1850, that's what it would look like. That's pretty nifty. Mm-hmm. Charles II. The House of Stuart. The old clock. So they removed it from this building in 1979. It was still functioning. Did you enjoy it?
Did you?
I did. All right, so this is the slave trading complex, the Old Slave Mart Museum, and we're gonna go in. Domestic slave trade. So here's what it looked like. I was saying it took up a whole block. So that's that, and then they built this basically as a showroom, like at a car dealership for like it was a Ryan's Mart. There's a list of, that's wild. So you be worth 175. I'd be worth 100. No, yeah, you're 175. You'll go down next year. Here's some of the shackles. A rattle leg shackle. So they put pebbles in there.
And rub you.
And if you squeeze mud into the containers and they figure that out,